You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Oh, no.
I see that's yeah, and it's the story. Yeah, well, you are. Okay. The Ravels are which ones?
And the Bible is sitting next to Paul Schwartz and the green fell behind Phyllis.
Okay. So is that Jeff?
It's Jeff and that's Nicholas.
Yeah.
11 cents, that's the father. It's kind of hard to make. And the truck drivers,
Oh.
Or do you think, I mean, I think you'll pick up.
Yeah.
The top one should pick up. Because you're probably not going to sing with the violin, right?
No.
I didn't think so. I wasn't sure.
But I'll strap cymbals to my knees and go like this.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Shabbat shalom.
That's,
Shabbat shalom.
those are the walls.
Yes. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome, everybody. It's so great to see you, and thank you for being here. We're going to get started with our service this evening, and I'm going to invite everyone to open the Siddur. And let's turn together to page 5 in the Siddur, and we'll look towards the bottom of the page, the very famous Shabbat song and opening prayer, Shalom Aleichem. And I will play that on the violin this evening, but I think we all know this song pretty well, so please sing along as I am playing. Bottom of page 5, Shalom Aleichem. Okay, and with that, let's turn to page 11, and we will continue with Psalm 95, the opening psalm of Kabbalat Shabbat Lechu Neranena. Please join me. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, Nekarma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, Bismirot Naria Lo. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. The heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice, the sea and its fullness roar, the meadows and all that grows in them exult, even the trees of the forest shall sing praise, as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and peoples with divine truth. Let's turn to page 14, and in the middle of the page, let's sing together, Yismechu Hashamayim. Please join me. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, umlo. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, umlo. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. And now let us turn to page 20. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. Page 20 at the bottom of the Hebrew section, let's sing together, Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Now let us turn the page. Page 21. We'll continue together with Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid. Please rise. Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai Bnei Elim, Havul Adonai Kavod Va'oz, Havul Adonai Kevod Shemo Yishtachavu Adonai Behadrat Kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim Adonai al mayim rabim ma'ilai Kol Adonai ba'koach Kol Adonai behadar Kol שובר ארזים וישבר אדוני את עזי הלבנון וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון כמו בן רעמים אילי כל אדוני קוצב לעבוד אש כל אדוני יחיל מדבר יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש כל אדוני יכול אל אילות ויחשוף יערות ובהיכלות כולו אומר כבוד אילי אדוני למבול ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום לי 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 You may be seated. We are now going to continue with Lecha Dodi, the quintessential hymn or prayer that officially welcomes Shabbat. This Shabbat is known as Shabbat Chazon. It is the Shabbat that is immediately before Tisha B'Av, which is later this week. And as a result, there is the tradition to sing Lecha Dodi to a Tisha B'Av tune known as Elit Sion. Elit Sion is a poem that we recite after the reading of Eicha on Tisha B'Av. And so it's a little bit of a slower tune. You might recognize it. We're going to use that tune this evening for Lecha Dodi. We'll sing the first two verses on page 23, and then we'll sing the middle verse on page 24, and then the final verse on page 25. And when we get to that final verse, we will all rise once again and face the entrance of the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat at that time. Pages 23 through 25. Lecha Dodi likarat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zafor bedibur echad Hishmianu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad Ushemo echad L'shem u'letiferet v'litehila Lecha Dodi likarat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha Ki mekor haberacha Merosh mikedem Nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela. Middle of 24. Hitoreri, kiva orech komi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alaich nigla, lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Bottom of 25, please rise. Face the entrance to welcome Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala. Bnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Bnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We will now turn to page 27. Now that we've officially welcomed Shabbat, and Shabbat is here, let us sing the psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92, page 27, top of the page. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulzamer leshimcha elyon, ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulzamer leshimcha elyon, ulzamer leshimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatecha baleilot, alei asor ba'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulzamer leshimcha elyon, ulzamer leshimcha elyon. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. Middle of page 28. Please join me as we sing together Tzadik Katamar. Tzadik Katamar yiferach ke'eres balvanon yizkeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai suri tsuri belo avalatabo. Before we continue with the Mariv service, I just want to share a few words about Shabbat Chazon and how it relates to this week's Torah portion. I've told the story before in this community about when I was in my very first full-time synagogue as a cantor. I was there for a couple of months, and there was a member of the community who wasn't necessarily a member of the shul, but came regularly to our services, particularly on Friday nights. And for the first couple of months in that congregation, I was using a very specific melody for the prayer Hashkivenu that I particularly liked. It was a melody that I grew up with, I learned as a small child, and that's what I did for Hashkivenu. The congregation generally liked it, and they learned the melody pretty quickly. They were singing along with me, except for this one member of the community. She approached me one Shabbat after services and came up to me and said, "Cantor, why is it that you never do the traditional version of Hashkivenu? I said, well, I don't know. What is the traditional version of Hashkivenu? And she starts singing the following tune. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom. Okay, we all know that tune. I explained to her that that tune was written in 1985. And the tune that I was doing was written back in the 30s or 40s, I think. And we had a very nice discussion, but I learned something about this conversation. What that person viewed or believed to be traditional is obviously different than what the next person will believe or feel is traditional. And I find that idea to be very closely related to what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow morning, which is from the Jewish perspective and from the Jewish consciousness, what's the difference between history and our memory of history. They are usually not the same thing. What actually happened in history is one thing. How we remember it happening is something that's totally different. And in general, as Jews, we tend to lean more towards our memory of history versus the history itself. And so I just wanted to plant that seed for this evening, now that we're going to continue with the Mariv service. And if you want to hear more about this idea in more details, I will be speaking about this tomorrow morning during services. So please come tomorrow, you can hear more about that. Let us now turn to page 39a. We're going to continue now with the Mariv service. I invite everyone to please rise for the Baruch Hu at the top of the page 39a. Lai 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 la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Lai 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 lai. La 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 la. You may be seated. Please join me on the English side of 39a for the first blessing of Mariv. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Living and ever-present God, may your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. And now let us turn to page 40. We'll continue together with Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Ahavta, Amecha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. בדרכנו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה נגה יומם ולילה באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 41. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim haele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We'll continue privately with the second and third paragraphs of the Shema, page 42. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. God brought Israel from its midst to lasting freedom and led them through the divided water of the Sea of Reeds. As their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths, God's children beheld the power of the divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name willingly, accepting God's sovereignty. And then Moses, Miriam, and the people of Israel joyfully sang unto you, Who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, adorned in holiness, revered in praise, working wonders? Let's turn to page 44. Please join me as we sing together, Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Nedar B'Kodesh. Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Nedar B'Kodesh. Nora tehilot oseh chele. Nora tehilot oseh chele. Malchutecha ra'u banecha bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe. זה אלי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני Markifada Adonai, Adonai et Yaakov, Ugealo, Meyad Chazak Mimenu, Baruch, Baruch Ata Adonai, Gaal, Gaal, Gaal Yisrael. And now let us turn to page 45, and we will continue and sing together Hashkivenu, not the traditional one. Page 45, we'll sing the beginning in Hebrew, and then we will recite part of the prayer in English on the English side. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechaim ulshalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch Atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. Now let's turn to page 46, and I invite everyone to please rise. We'll sing together Veshamru and Chatzi Kaddish at the top of the page. Page 46, please rise. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki shishet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Yitkadal ve'itkadash shemei rabam be'alman yivarach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'alam le'almei almaya yitbarach yitbarach ve'ishtabach ve'itpar ve'itromam ve'itnaseh ve'itadar ve'italeh ve'italal shmei l'kudisha berichu le'ela min kol berchata ve'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru Amen. The silent Amida for Erev Shabbat begins on page 47 and concludes on page 52. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'ase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'ase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. If you are still reciting the Amidah, please continue. At this time, we are going to think about and pray for those in our community and for those in our own personal lives that are in need of healing. We are going to sing the Debbie Friedman version of the Misha Berach. I will then read the names that we have here on our list. Please know that earlier this week, our list was trimmed down a little bit. So if you need a name put on the list, please give us a call. If you also hear a name that you know that does not need to be on the list anymore, please also let us know so that we can keep the list as accurate as possible. After I read the names, we'll go around the room if you have a name you want to add. And for those who are online, you can unmute as well and add the name at that time. Misheberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say, Amen. Chavasara bat Basha, Esther Neshama bat Sarah, Yehudit bat Kalman, Rachel bat Esther, Chaim ben Pesach, Harvey Ruskin, Diane Chodorow, Alan Chodorow, Larry Levy, Rachel Langer, Beth Stewart, Jack Azuz, David ben Rezel, Merit bat Miriam, Aaron ben Chaya Golda, Tal ben Sarah, Shoshana bat Yochevet, Al Montano, Sandra Kite, Healy Solomon, Kathy Brown, Gary Guto, Harriet Feinberg, Arnie Tenenbaum, Brandon Simpson, Ken Gasser, Ira Robinson, Andrea Kotke, Jennifer Brown, Lerner, Eva Curis, Stanley Satz, and Stuart Ogden. Is there anybody online who would like to add a name? And may they all find the physical and spiritual healing that they so deserve. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. With that, we'll continue with the full Kaddish, page 54, in the middle of the page. Yitkadal vitkadashem erabah. Be'almadi v'rakirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechonu v'yomechonu u'v'chayi l'chol Beit Yisrael b'agalav v'zman karim ve'imeru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'alam u'le'al me'almaya yitbarach v'ishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudesh abrichu le'ela min chol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma ve'imeru. Amen. Tit kabal tzalot ahon vaton dechol Yisrael kodama v'hondi v'ishmaya ve'imeru. Amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shamaya v'chaim alinu v'al chol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Ose shalom imromav hu yaseh shalom alinu v'al chol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. We will now continue with the Shabbat evening Kiddush on page 55. I invite everyone to please rise. I know that normally we have the cups here with grape juice, but because we are going down for Shabbat dinner after services, the cups will be down there instead. Page 55. Savri maran v'rabanan v'rabotai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, sechel yitziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchalotanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Let us turn the page and we'll continue with Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu leshabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו ככם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד על כן נכבד לך אדוני אלוהינו. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. At this moment, we will remember those in our community that are no longer with us. This Shabbat, we remember Kay Kaplan, Helen Farkas, Annette Tepper, Armand Naftali Drucker, Pauline Kaufman, Sidney Franklin, Anne Levick, Ethel Moskowitz, and Clarice Siegel. And if there is anyone else you are remembering this evening, please take a moment to remember them in your mind and in your heart, and may their memory be for blessing and for a goodness. Let's continue with Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divarach Hirutei ve'amlich Malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Israel, Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen, Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam alalme almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal Shemei Kudesha Barichu Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shamaya b'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You may be seated. In a few moments, we are going to conclude our service with Yigdal, and then, of course, I think most of us are here this Shabbat to come together as a community for Shabbat dinner. But before we do that, we have some announcements. Yeah.
Good Shabbos, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Harvey Buckhalter. I'm the president of the congregation. Welcome. It's nice to see many familiar faces that I haven't seen in a long time. And everyone who usually comes on Friday night, and we'd like to have more people, of course, come on Friday and celebrate Shabbat in the synagogue with us. We have two announcemements. One is the honey sale that's being organized by the Sisterhood, and August 1st is the last day for free shipping. Each jar of honey is $14, makes a wonderful gift for friends and family, and I'm sure they will appreciate it when they receive it. So please take a look at the shofar, or go online, or go to the e-blasts that we have and you can order very, very simply. Even a dummy like me knows how to order online when it comes to ordering stuff from the website of the synagogue and the e-blast. And speaking of honey, we have a very sweet event coming up August 11th and 12th, which is the Bas Mitzvah of Julia Kashkin. And we hope that everybody can come here and celebrate the Simcha with her mishpacha as well. And so tomorrow we actually do have services again. It doesn't end here. And so services start at 9:30. Please try to be here for that. And please try to come on Friday night. We really can use your help with everything. And we like to have this place filled up. What could you ask for? What more could you ask for than this beautiful sanctuary to be in on a Friday night to begin the week? Good Shabbos.
Okay, thank you, Harvey. All of you that are here this Shabbat, this is the minimum that we would love to see every Friday night. So if you actually have ideas or feedback about how we can make that happen regularly, please come and let me know or come and let Harvey know. We would actually like to put some ideas together for different things. Ideally, we would also like to fill up this room enough so that during services, we will actually have to use this side of the sanctuary for once. I also want to add that this coming Wednesday evening is the beginning of Tisha B'Av, and we're going to have a service that evening for the start of the observance at 7:30 p.m. It'll be a very quick evening service with the reading of Eicha, the Book of Lamentations, which is what we traditionally read on that holiday. So that's this coming Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. So please mark your calendars for that. Without further ado, we will conclude now with Yigdal, and then as we head downstairs for the Shabbat dinner, please wait till most of us congregate in the social hall, and we are going to recite the Hamotzi first before we start eating. So when you get there, please wait until we're ready to actually begin the meal together. But before then, Yigdal, page 62. יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא וינט אל מציאותו אחד אין יחיד כייחודו נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר יורה גדולתו ומלכותו שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו לא קם בישראל למשה עוד נביא ומביט את אמונתו תורת אמת נתן לעמו על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע סתרנו מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו גומר לאיש חסד כמפעלו נותן לרשע רע כרישתו ישלח לקץ ימין נשיחנו לבדוק מחכה קץ ישועתו מתים יחייאל ברוב חסדו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו מתים יחייאל ברוב חסדו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us downstairs for dinner. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos to everybody there and everybody online. Good Shabbos.
Is this your first instrument?
My first one?
Yeah, no, is this violin your first
Yes.
instrument?
Yeah. So I started that when I was 6. It's not my first